Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. My name is Denise Valdez, and I'll be your lovely host on Pack Your Bags, We're Leaving. We are expecting episodes full of stories, tips, and first-hand experiences that will help you prepare for your study abroad. For our passengers who just enjoy listening to stories of travel, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm super excited that you guys decided to come back because today's story is really crazy. So put your seatbelts on because we're going to be expecting some turbulence on this flight. And perhaps consider lowering your volume on the device you are listening on because it's going to get a bit loud here today. Why? Well, today's special guest is no other than my best friend, Donnie! Woo, woo, woo.
Hello. My name is Danny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a student. I'm in this ride with Denise.
Yes.
But I am a sociology major, so that differs us. Everybody, I guess, know that I went to Korea with you. So
yeah, I do talk about you in the first episode. For the people who didn't listen to the first episode, you don't have to listen to it before this one, but definitely go back to check it out because there's some other stories in there that are pretty interesting.
yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how we met, or it's been how many years?
Wait, 6th grade, right?
Yeah, 6th grade. 6, 7, 8,
9,
10,
12.
First year of college.
9 years.
It's been more than a decade, almost.
Okay,
That's crazy.
Let's not put in the numbers. Let's just keep it in middle school.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Back in middle school.
Back in middle school, believe it or not, we did not like each other.
We were enemies. We were like academic rivals.
Academic rebels. It was like, oh, if she can do it, I can do better than that.
I remember, this is gonna be like, a little off topic, but we would have like the English assignment, the workbooks. Yeah. And then we had to switch them with our partner, and she was my desk partner.
Yeah.
So then we would switch the books with each other, and we would always mark everything wrong, like that we could find.
On purpose.
Like,
no, that's right.
Right. And then we would get like the a para involved, and we would be like, isn't this correct? But she marked it wrong. And then she would be like, no, it's okay. And then I was like, see, I told you. What made you want to study abroad?
Okay, what made me want to study abroad in Korea? Well, studying abroad was also a thing I had in the back of my head when I started college. And with the scholarship we have, it influenced it even more. For those who don't know, Denise and I are K-pop fans.
Yeah, we like K-pop.
And I think that influenced our liking in Korean culture. So all the aspects, besides like the pop culture of it, I think that's where we got interested, like learning the language
and the
food. So, and I think in the back of my head, it was like, I want to go to a country where I'm like a little familiar with like the rules, you could say, or guidelines for that country.
Yeah.
And since I did or still do follow like a lot of the Korean media and culture, then I was like, that might be a good choice.
And during our time there, we experienced multiple things, right? Some really good and some a little scary. All right, but for this story, this one is a little long, but there's a lot of ups and downs to it, so it's interesting. But a little disclaimer before we start. We want to remind our listeners that the following events do not represent the entire country or its people. In no way should what we say be used to stigmatize or think negatively about the country as a whole. And this is also just what we experienced. Other people have different stories to tell. But let's dive into this story. To start off this whole story, we want to say that we weren't 100% sure if this was actually a cult or if our imaginations were just going a little crazy. But no, hear me out. Everything aligned to it, allegedly. We're going to put this story out there. I don't know who's going to listen to it. We won't use this person's real name. We decided that we would call her the lady.
The lady. Yeah. The 30-year-old lady.
The 30-year-old lady. Is that a little strange that we were talking to a 30-year-old woman?
Well, not really, because if we go back to how we met her, we went, was it the weekend before like our classes started? The campus compared to UNO is humongous. So we were intimidated in so many ways. We went to campus.
We were trying to find your classroom.
Yeah, there was like a big map by the entrance of the university. We looked lost. We were looking at the girls lost It was very, very noticeable.
We stand out, yeah.
The lady and her sister, according to them.
And I thought it was the mother. They're okay.
You did. That's where we kind of maybe got on their bad side.
Maybe.
Because somebody assumed that was her mom. But, okay, so they came up to us and they offered their help. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I didn't find it weird because I was like, okay, like, she did say that she wanted more help with her English and practice it. So, I think that was her first interaction with us. And, like, she wanted to make it seem that she wanted, like, foreign friends.
Which is sometimes common among
a lot of Korean students mentioned that. And as in for her age, she did tell us. But to be in university, you don't really have to be of a certain age to be a student.
They took us to the building. I remember or she was taking you to the classroom and I was behind speaking to the allegedly sister because we don't know.
Yeah.
And after they took us to the building, they wanted to exchange like our socials so we can keep in contact. Like Donnie said, she wanted to practice speaking English and we didn't mind like meeting her and like, grabbing some coffee or something and like just having a nice chat. The second time we met, we just decided to hang out, the three of us, to grab some coffee, but she ended up inviting a friend of hers.
There was no topic of what we were going to talk about when we met her. It was just like maybe have like an actual sit down and like
get to know each other.
Yeah. But
they took us to a cafe.
They took us to a cafe, but the fact that he was there didn't throw me off either.
Yeah, no, me either.
To be honest, we were like, oh my god, what if that's her boyfriend? Yeah. And we're like, oh, that she just wants to make it seem like it's a friend, but I'm like, they make a cute couple.
What if it was what if it was actually like someone she was interested in, and then we were like, oh,
like we still didn't take anything the wrong way or like,
it wasn't uncomfortable.
There was like no tension at all. Yeah, like everything was fine in the general conversations we had. I think.
Do you remember what we talked about at the cafe?
They were very interested in like why we chose Korea, and I think there was like a part of them that they were like, oh, you chose my country.
They also were recommending different places that we should go to. And then we told them that after our semester, we were planning to stay a little longer so we can go to Seoul. I think this was a little weird, and like, looking at it now. This was
the first weird part.
Yeah. The guy was like, oh, if you guys ever need a place to stay, you guys are welcome to stay at my place. And, at first we were like, okay, like, obviously we know, like, stranger danger, right? But just to be like, yeah, thank you, of course, like, we'll consider it if we do go. He wasn't being pushy about it either. Right. He was just like, my place is there if you guys ever need a place to stay. Oh, they actually bought the food for us.
Yes, they did.
And we were like, oh my god, like what do we do? Right. Like, split half and half, send them money, or is it, I got you next time?
And they just like pointed out like, no, like next time we hang out, it could be on you guys.
Sure. And I think they also had mentioned this is like what we like to do, like when we invite someone out, like as part of our culture, we want to like welcome you in a way. And we're like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so there was like nothing like
strange,
alarming, you could say that we need to stay away from these people
until. Okay, there was a pre-third time before the actual third time. We had planned to meet at a cafe. The lady was very insistent on us going over to her house. Yeah. We did start to find that a little weird. We're like, we're not really comfortable with going to a person's house. And then, it could have also been the language barrier. It was probably lost in translation. Sometimes apps aren't accurate. And she was like, oh, when meeting someone new, how long does it usually take for you, like in your culture, to visit someone's house? Right. And I'm like, well, that depends. For us, we knew that we were in a whole different country. And we can't just be like spontaneous and like go to a random person's house. She would text me a lot one-on-one, and that's when I told her I'm not that comfortable with going to a stranger's house. Like, I just met you, and like I don't want this to come off like in a rude way. Like, by all means, I think you're a great person, but I don't feel comfortable going to your house yet. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry if I made you uncomfortable. And I'm like, no, don't worry, girl. Like, it's okay.
We're all good.
So then we did make those plans to go to a cafe and meet on a weekend, but our other friends were like, we don't have class on Monday, so it's going to be a long weekend. We need to take this weekend to go travel to Busan. And we had already made the plans, and I felt really bad, but we don't always get a 4-day weekend.
Right.
So we went to Busan, and then we apologized, and well, I told her like, oh, I'm like really sorry, but our friends bought tickets for us to go to Busan, so we can't meet you.
I think at that point, I didn't find it anything like suspicious yet. I just didn't like that she was so pushy.
Now for the actual third time that we met her, we decided to go watch Inside Out 2. I thought it was pretty cool. That was the first time in a Korean movie theater.
I did not want to go. I didn't want to go. I was tired and I didn't feel like going. But in the back of my head, I was like, if Denise were to go out with anybody else, like any friend that we've met so far, like I'd be like, oh, you girl, have fun. Bye. Go on your own. Like, I won't be joining this time. But for some reason, like, I was like, I kind of need to go with her because I don't trust that she will be safe.
Like the vibes.
Like, I don't know. I had that feeling. So I was like, if anything happens, then it's like 2 against 1.
Right. Yeah. 2 is better than 1.
Yeah, 2 is better than 1. I did fall asleep during the whole movie.
We watched the movie. Then after that, we went to, it was like this mall, which had like a food court. So we decided to go there to eat. And we were having a conversation like normal. But then this is where it kind of started to get a little...
That's where the first like weird encounter came. That we were like,
like, what is this? So basically, the lady had told us that in the past she used to work at a Samsung company. I don't know what specific store or branch, but she figured out that it wasn't for her. So then she ended up finding a job helping a professor in psychology or science or something like that.
It was also, I don't know exactly if she named it differently, but it had like philosophy with, because it wasn't fully psychology. It had some philosophy to it. But I think it was also a lot like spiritual stuff. So where it got weird is that we were in the food court.
She had it wasn't a school bag, it was like a little tote bag, but she pulled out a notebook. She was like, hey guys, I really want to show you guys what I've been working
like what I'm studying, working on.
With my professor. Yeah, like helping out the professor. We're like, okay, cool, like you can show us. And at first, I'm just like really interested. And the thing that was like surprising was how she was able to connect her little project to the movie of Inside Out.
Which that movie, like...
It was just random. I don't know if I mean, maybe she planned it. Maybe she's like...
She released a movie. When we look back at it now, we're like, wow, that's like very smart / scary how she just used anything to her advantage and was like connected to this.
Related to like the emotions, like Inside Out. And then how like we experienced that. And also like balance. I remember her drawing a lot of pictures, like little diagrams. She's like, because like obviously the language barrier again, but her, mind you, like her English was really good. Yeah, it kind of got to a point where Danny and I had to leave because it was during midterm week.
And we had to go study.
Yeah, we had to go study. So we're like, hey, we're gonna have to cut this short, and I'm like, we're gonna leave because we need to go study. And she's like, oh, really? Like already? But like I wanted to finish explaining my project to you guys. And I'm like, I know, I'm like really sorry, but we do need to go study. She's like, oh, when are you free? Like, can we meet one more time before you leave? Right. In my head, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll be willing to hang out with you one more time because like you're actually a really good person.
Side-eyeing Denise like, shut up.
And in my head, I'm just like, you're actually a really good person. And I feel really bad that like she wanted to have more time to hang out with us, right? That's how I was taking it. So I'm like, one more day won't hurt.
But the thing is, after we got off the bus, we definitely talked about it. Like, do you think that was weird?
Oh yeah, we definitely
did. We did. Like, we acknowledged it. Like, there is something cooking here.
But
that's why I can't believe we went back. Because I know I was fed up already the last time.
Like, you were already done with her? Yeah.
And I was trying to not be rude, but...
But, you know, we went back to our dorms, whatever, yada, 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 until the fourth time, the last time.
The last time.
Do you want to start this?
The last time we met her, she was already there. And we sat down, and again, she was giving us the notebook lecture again. We decided to go, but we wanted to, like, wrap it up quickly. Best we could.
I do remember that.
Because we weren't technically lying because one of our friends was not going to join us on our last trip because he was leaving to his
Yeah,
home country. Well, we kind of did lie because we didn't have to help him pack, but we still had to hang out with him to kind of like say our goodbyes. But we did add that like our like afternoon is not free because we have to go back to the dorms and help our friend pack because he has to exit the dorm at this time.
Right.
So that's when she picked up the pace, and it was so visible that her whole body language was like anxious at that point. Like, oh my God, like I have to like do something right now. So then she mentioned like, oh, like let's go to like the place
that she was talking about.
She was talking about like, I don't know if that's where she did her work, the study. I don't know.
Cause she was still talking about the correlation between what she's studying and then the Inside Out movie. And we were also talking about sleep paralysis and spirits and stuff.
That was all you.
Yeah, that was
because I was fed up.
Yeah,
I was like,
she was done with her.
I was done, and the woman did not know how to read the room because I was giving my full on, I'm sorry, bitch face attitude of all times that I can do, and I only leave that attitude to the people that I'm done with.
You kind of presented this image where like I'm uninterested.
I'm uninterested and I don't want to listen to you. Right. I was like constantly like looking at my phone, like tapping on it, trying to make it like, okay, wrap it up, honey.
And me being the person that I am, one, gullible. Also, like I consider myself a good listener, and I always like when I'm listening, I'm like full on listening, right? Like I'm giving you all of my undivided attention. So I'm like there sitting. She's talking about. Well, I was talking about like sleep paralysis and all of this because I had an experience of sleep paralysis during our time there at the dorms, and I was talking about it. And then again, with the correlation between what she was studying or helping research and then to the movie, it got to a point where she started talking about this practice. And when she said like, oh, it's very common for people to do this, that's when it kind of hit me, and I'm like, oh, I kind of have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
And
it's been a bad feeling since the food court.
But that's when it really hit me. Like, oh, okay, this is not what I thought it was. And she's like, many people do this practice to get rid of the bad energy that they have for a like prosperous future. And I'm just like, oh, that's really cool.
But she left it there. Like she just wanted to kind of introduce the practice. When we told her that, oh, we have to like wrap it up because we have to leave soon, that's when she kind of like put the hands down on the table and she was like, how about we just go now?
Yeah, and the thing was, because she was still like trying to, I guess, be like more kind about it. Right,
because first it was giving like informative.
Yeah.
Then it was more like hands-on, like, let's go right now because then you're not going to be able to, like, you're going to miss out on it.
Right.
Like,
and then
there's no tomorrow. Basically, there was no tomorrow because we knew we weren't going to meet her again.
Right. And at this point, I know you were checked out, but then I was still listening. And
oh my God.
and she
was in the practice listening.
I was full on it. I'm just kidding. But she was like almost asking me if I would be interested in doing this practice. And I'm like, actually, I feel like I'm at a point in life where I'm really comfortable with my balance, both negative and like, you know, I was trying to use her lingo that she was telling me. I'm like, I really like my energy right now. Like, I think because of like both my mistakes and like my bad and good, I was able to come here to South Korea.
Right.
You know, everything would happen for a reason, right?
Right. Like I don't have to add anything in my life.
Right. Like I don't feel like I need a cleanse, basically.
Okay.
And then she was like, oh, okay, but like you can even do it for like your future generations. And in my head I'm already thinking, sorry, I'm the last one. I'm gonna end my bloodline here. But but I'm just like, no, I'm okay, thank you. And then that's when she was starting to get more pushy, like you said.
Right, like
no, let's go.
Yeah, like you could just see the whole body language change to
like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose them if
right.
You know, if
like I need to get them in some way. Like I'm losing them, so I have to like get them again. And the thing is, at that moment, Denise and I
remember I stepped on you.
Yes, I was like, because we already knew where this was going. It was getting so scary to the point where we were like, we don't know if she has backup.
Right. Oh my God.
It got scary because we're like, okay, like we might think we're just talking to her, but now that we know that there's like a place she wants to take us, there's like more people maybe there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this like maybe just the funny us being already kind of like
paranoid. Like, yeah.
There was this, so we were sitting at a table by the window. It's like a big glass window.
Yeah.
And the car's parked there, like next to it. And
normal.
It's normal. It's normal. That car's parked. But a lady came out, and it wasn't until I think she was inside, right? Mm-hmm. We noticed that, I don't know, she could have just been looking, you know? Like,
right.
I don't know. She could have just been looking, but we took it as in, oh my god, like, what if she's with her and she's kind of watching us, or like...
Did you see? I don't know if you saw, but I swear, I saw her... She had her phone out, right? And mind you, this is a very popular bakery, so maybe she was taking pictures of the food. But I felt the camera staring at, like, pointing at us. And I'm like, this woman is recording us.
Okay, you saw that, but you didn't see what she was trying to lure us into. Yeah.
I was like, at that point, I was like, I locked in and I'm like, okay, oh shit, this is not what I thought it was. This is something else. So that's when I like started to pay full attention. I remember I was telling her that it takes me a while to, like, I don't have that intuition, or it's harder for me to listen to my intuition. She took that to her advantage. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she took that to her advantage because it wasn't until the end where it clicked in. And then, my intuition started kicking in, and I'm like, I just saw that person like point camera. The phone. Yeah. But maybe she was pointing it at something else. Right. I don't know, but I thought she was.
We were just being paranoid at that moment. And the lady got out of the bakery and she went into her car, but like we felt that she was still staring at us. Like she was getting her car, but like kind of like we were like, what if the car is
what if she's getting the car ready for us to shove us in there?
That's when we started kind of like thinking of our whole life decisions. Like, our trip is basically over. This is how it's going to be over?
We're like, no. But what I did was one of our friends, he messaged
First of all, round of applause to that man.
Round of applause.
Round of applause to him because he understood the assignment.
He understood and he locked in when, even with no doubt, with asking no questions. He texted me. I think he asked, oh, when are you guys free? Because again, like Danny said, we were going to still hang out with him that evening. And then I said, hey, I need you to call me in Spanish because he speaks both English and Spanish, but in Spanish. And then he called me and then he's like, bueno, he said hello. And then I'm like full on in Spanish. Necesitamos tu ayuda? And then explaining the situation in Spanish. And I mean, I don't think the woman understood Spanish, maybe only English and Korean. But I'm like, it's going to make it seem more realistic if I'm speaking in a different language, because then she can't really understand my tone, right? Or like to see what I'm actually telling him, right? And basically I told him, hey, we need your help. Pretend to, I don't know, that you need help with something, so we're gonna we're gonna leave. Right, just an escape plan, right? He's like, okay, like I got you guys. And then we hung up. I told the lady, we need to go. Like, we need to leave. I think I said something like he ended up moving his ticket or something, and he was going to leave earlier than we expected. So we had to go and help him take the luggage to the bus stop. Yeah, the bus stop. And then she was like, no, wait, guys, please, just give me a few more minutes. Like, I'm almost done. And then I'm like, no, I'm really sorry. We really have to go. She's like, okay, like, I understand. Like, I'm sorry.
I think she gave up at that point.
Yeah, she probably gave up.
She was like, oh, I guess they found out. And the thing is, the saying goodbye part was still very, like, sincere, I guess. But she kept it very friendly.
Yeah.
And I thought after she lost us, she was probably going to be like, okay, like, bye, guys. Yeah. And like, okay, well, it didn't work out. But she was still like, oh, like, if you ever come back to Korea, like, contact me. No.
And I'm like, of course, yes. Like, I have your phone number.
As soon as we got back to the dorm, we blocked her.
I remember, no, I hadn't blocked her yet, just to keep it.
Keep what? Safe?
Because I didn't want to, like, trigger her by, like, oh, I'm blocking you immediately.
Oh, well, like, I probably did because
I remember you did. Then I remember the next day, we actually were leaving to catch our flight to Jeju. And then on the way there, I got a message from her. I don't know how she remembered. Well, I mean, I did tell her. She remembered and she was like, oh, you're probably on your way to Jeju now. I hope you have a safe flight. And maybe when you come back, we can meet in Seoul again. And I'm like, yeah. And then,
sure.
No. And then I'm like, oh, like, thank you so much. And then when we waited for, like, the boarding to get on the plane, that's when I blocked her. I'm like, blocked. Like, remove her from Instagram.
She's like, I need to make sure I make it past security before I block her.
What if that man that she brought to the cafe, what if that was her boss?
Right. Like, or we have so many questions that I think we're never going to have them answered because...
The big question, like, why did we go back, like, that fourth day? I mean, we kind of did talk about it, but I don't know. For me, it was more like that.
You have the benefit of the doubt. The thing is, when we went to Korea, we did hear that with like foreigners, I guess that could be an easy target. Like, oh, they don't know if it's part of our culture, or if it's part of it. So I think it's just like a general, like if you're a foreigner in any country,
you're an easier
target for those. I don't want to say cold because we never knew if it was
for
cold.
those situations.
For those situations. We heard stories, I guess, online of other foreigners in Korea. So we, in the back of our heads, were kind of like, let's keep an open mind if we ever encounter those type of situations. But I think what kind of like drifted us apart from those like people's experiences was that we legit thought it was like a friend, because the way she approached us was very like not trying to offer us something, you know? Whereas in my head, I thought if I were to get offered and like lured into this type of situation would be like I'm walking like in the street and then somebody comes up to me and like
you a flyer.
Then I would be like, okay, no, like no, I know where you're going. I'm not interested in. Bye.
From today's episode, what do you think their one main thing should be?
I think it should always be a thing, having that sixth sense that you should always have of awareness. I don't think you have to be in a different country to have that sixth sense of awareness. I think you should do that every day.
Like intuition?
Yeah, like go with your intuition. Be friendly to people, but don't let that friendliness get taken advantage of.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Like if you have to say no, there's no wrong thing of saying no to. Like
I need to learn how to say no sometimes, you know?
Exactly.
Any other words?
Thank you for having me here. It felt very nice. It felt very nice being a special guest.
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay cool and kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the end of this episode. Tune in for future episodes full of crazy stories, tips, and special guests. Thank you for choosing Pack Your Bags We're Leaving for your travel stories and tips.